Good morning, Story Trading VIPs. It's February 2nd, Thursday, February 2nd. We got a huge show for you, a lot going on here. Let me just make sure I sent that link out to everybody, get everyone on the show here. We got lots of guests and everything. So we are going to get to Clearfield with earnings tonight and Chris Harbor in about 10 minutes. And we might even also have Kris Tuttle on to talk about this chat GPT stock. So stay tuned for that. But first, look at the macro, the QQQ SPY, like everything exploding. If you listen to the press conference yesterday with Jerome Powell, it was 0.25 bips. Everyone expected that. But my interpretation of that press conference was a pivot, right? So we didn't technically have a pivot to a pause. We didn't technically have a pivot to dropping rates. But his tone was a pivot. I have never seen Jerome Powell so optimistic, so dismissive of concerns, giddy, that talking about deflation setting in, talking about soft landing. I mean, to me, that was a pivot strong enough to warrant. And this is what we got. I wasn't the only one thinking this. Look at this, from 294 to 307 in just a few hours on QQQ. So I think the interpretation I'm having is being shared by a lot of the market. And you can see the NASDAQ is over the key 50-week moving average. The SPY is over the key 50-week moving average. To me, this is something that has legs. That 50-week moving average can get retested, right? So that can be support. You can have some pullbacks. But for now, I think we're kind of in the clear for a bull run. I'm not ready to say the bottom is in. You saw what happened between 2000 and 2001. It took 3 years to get your ultimate bottom. So I'm not ready to say the bottom is in. But certainly, this is I think, the beginning of an extended bull run. So all good news all around. TLT and UP both up, but we were looking at TLT yesterday for indications when bonds go up, rates go down, which is good for risk assets. That's usually, you see UP was down yesterday. That sharp drop in UP stays up. It's still down sharply from yesterday. So that's a stronger indication that this rally is for real, because the bond and currency markets are smarter than the stock markets. And you can see risk just taking off, as represented by Cathie Wood's ARKK and all the underlying stocks. Now, I noticed something in the price movements yesterday. Some of those micro caps and some of those biotechs that did really well in January, that got slaughtered in 2022, and they had a great January, they did not really participate yesterday. What participated yesterday were high quality growth companies. So the all the companies in ARKK and Meta, obviously, Tesla, Coin, all those high quality growth companies, Mobileye, those are the ones that really participated. Plug, right? So just pay attention to that. Money flow is going into the growth stocks now. And I think what we had in January was more about the January effect and those beaten down microcaps. So we are seeing a differentiation in the money flow just a little bit. And also we had yesterday, obviously, we had Meta up 20% on not such great news. I mean, they're cutting their expenses, they're doing a buyback, but the earnings and the revenue not so hot. And we're going up massively like this on not great news. That's great news, right? Up on bad news, up on so-so news. That's great news. And you can see here up against some congestion here. What is that number? I can't even see. It's blocked. But it's nearing a 190, 192 area of resistance. And then ultimately maybe 228, 200 DMA. I'm not playing. I don't play these mega big caps except for Tesla. Tesla's the only one I'm in. And Tesla hit, and not only hit and now exceeding all of our targets. This is the 20 DMA. It's touching the 20 DMA. So this was the final of our swing targets. When it was like 120, we gave you like 3 swing targets. And the final one was the 20-week moving average at 188. Actually, no, we reset it is what happened. We did 2 swing plays because it broke above this 200-week moving average. Then we gave it the 20-week moving average. So we're there right now at the 20-week moving average. The RSI is still low. Honestly, I think this is going to have legs to 200, 220, maybe all the way to the 50-week moving average of 238. So risk on across the market, especially these growth stocks, all doing well. Bitcoin also responding well. Last night, I asked my colleague Yosef, hey, what's good to buy now? Because I did take some off the table going into the meeting yesterday, and I was wrong. I even bought some puts at the beginning of the Powell speech, and like 5 minutes through, I'm like, I'm wrong. I threw in the towel, sold my puts, and I had some cash, and I'm like, Yosef, what should I buy? And he said, Mara, Bitcoin's going to do well in this atmosphere, and he was right. I agreed with him on that. So I did jump into some Mara last night for a trade, and you can see Mara doing well here too. I think this one here, if Bitcoin continues going, obviously $9 to $10 targets on Mara. I don't really like to trade Bitcoin stocks myself because you got to look at the Bitcoin chart, and I don't have a Bitcoin chart. I have BITO, but I don't have the time and patience to go into the Coinbase and look at the chart. And there's like the sentiment and catalyst kind of hard with that. So I don't really trade Mara too much, but that was a great idea from Yosef. Congrats on that. We have earnings tonight. So we got Meta. I think the script's been written at this point. Like, no matter how bad the earnings are, the market's telling you it's going to find an excuse. It's going to send these up. So we have Apple, Google, Amazon tonight. I don't play these mega caps except for Tesla. So you can take a look at these charts above the 200-week moving average, gapping above it on Apple, the 200-day moving average. I'm sorry, making a move to the 50-week moving average. So do what you like on those big caps. I think, like I said, the script is written, and you just got to look at the technicals. And unless there's a big surprise, negative surprise with earnings, I think the script is written towards the upside. All right, we're going to have a couple guests. We're going to come to Clearfield in a second. Earnings tonight. We'll get to Kris in 4 or 5 minutes. GNS, here's a couple junk stocks, okay, which we like to have fun with. Sometimes GNS had some big news this morning. $10 NFT coupons. The headline, it's not as good as the details. If you go in the details, you see it's really a credit to use their own service. It's not like a $10 dividend. Like they're making the announcement seem like they're doing a $10 dividend to snuff out these naked shorts. And if you look into the details of this article, it's really a self-promotional thing. Like, hey, you can use $10 credit for educational services or something like that. So I'm not in it now, but I got a quick in and out trade on GNS, and yeah, it could fly, but there's too many other solid companies right now, solid things going on. Here's another junk stock here at CETX. This is a reverse split, and I think they're targeting it like MSGM. It was a reverse split. Low float went from like a couple dollars to $45. You don't see the after hours action here from last night in my chart for SCETX, but they ran this after it ran from like 7 to 12, went to like 16, 17 yesterday in after hours. Actually, I have a very small position in this just in case they want to run this like that other stock, MSGM. That'll be fun. That's my play money. Stocks like GNS and CETX. We had a little bit of news on CLF Cliff. They raised their prices again by $50 a ton. They did that on January 17th, doing it again 3 weeks later. Now you can see on the chart, January 17th, it had a little bit of a move, but it closed negative, went down for a few days, and ultimately repeat, right? Maybe you get a move in the morning, and because of that prior price action, I didn't have confidence to stick with this. I was just in and out for 10, 20 cents, but certainly good news for the long term on CLF. Very low PE, constantly raising the prices, also reducing their input costs. So CLF, great company. I'm waiting for Bed Bath & Beyond to go bust. Maybe if that works out, I'll short Carvana. I never really short things. The Bed Bath & Beyond, kind of my first time doing it, and I'm only doing it because we have Igal Baruch in our community, who is a supplier, is a vendor at a Bed Bath, and I know he's getting screwed by them. He's not getting paid. So that puts me closer to the story. And that's why for the first time ever, I have the guts to short something because firsthand, I know my friend is getting screwed from Bed Bath. So I know they're having financial issues. So, I have much more confidence in the headlines coming out that they're going to go bankrupt. So I am shorting Bed Bath & Beyond. So we'll see. Generac, man, what a call. We did this 2 times in a row. We called this at 114. What do we call? 125 to 135 price target at 114. We're at 130 in 2 days. Unbelievable. I think there's a good chance we get to our 135 gap fill today on the great news of home EV charging products that they're selling. And honestly, there's room to like 165 on this. Now, it might take earnings. Earnings are coming out in a week or so, maybe 2 weeks. So potentially this has room to like 160, 165, but 135 is my target on that news. We'll see if I decide to hold a little more for more after 135. Plug, we had a $19 swing target on this, 17.50 and 19, and that's coming to fruition too on the big news they had with the partnership with Johnson Matthey partnership. So that was big news. We flagged it. We looked at that news. We figured out it was very material enough to buy it. So that's working out as well. A lot of these swing trades working out. Geo, to me, it looks like Geo's starting to break out. That's also Chris Tarbert's stock. So maybe we'll talk to him about that later. But I really like this. I'm holding this I'm waiting for like a break above resistance, 12.50, and maybe we make a move towards like $15, $16. Maybe that'll take earnings as well. But obviously the geopolitical situation is great on that. I think Biden signed something. They're getting rid of that regulation, that title, whatever it is, 45. I forget the number, but in May or something, they're getting rid of it. So things are going well with Geo. Now, we also are going to bring on, right after we talk to Kris on Clearfield, we're going to bring on Kris Tuttle from IPO Candy and SPACfest to talk about YEXT. So we had AI on our list as like a chat GPT play. And Kris came and said, you know what? YEXT might be a better play for chat GPT, and it's exploded. We had a nice little chat in the room yesterday. Got in at $7.25. It's already at $8. So something might be really brewing over there. All right. There was some news, good news on TGB. Sting, STNG has some earnings coming up with these are Matt S stocks. He likes both of them. LLAP, by the way, I think I've had a 250 swing target on this for a long time. I think in these market conditions, it's going to go. So I don't know if it's today or tomorrow, but as the market stays green, it's making a move to 250. All right. So with that, let's bring on our first guest, Kris Tarbert, to talk about Clearfield earnings tonight. Kris, how you doing?
Hey, Ben. How you doing today?
Doing awesome. There's so much going on in the market. So Clearfield obviously has gotten clobbered. Let's just cut to the chase. Tell us what you're expecting for earnings.
Well, so look, what we discussed in the past is they've always said they're going to take the backlog and they're going to reduce it significantly. And so sort of the ideology behind that is that they've ramped up production. So they've got this massive $165 million backlog. Sherry's commented that she expects to ship at least 2/3 of it in the next 2 quarters. So that should provide some sort of floor in terms of revenue booked. I think what we really are looking for in this quarter is what is the bookings for the quarter? Do the bookings remain strong, right? There's been some commentary out there that some customers say that the booking's been soft. This comment came up in the Calyx call when Ryan Kuntz of Needham sort of pressed Calyx on is there any softness in the fourth quarter? And both the Calyx CEO and chairman of the board said, no, we're looking really good. Bookings are strong in the short, medium, and long term. So that's one data point. I don't know where Ryan Kuntz from Needham is hearing from that. Maybe he's hearing it from Clearfield. Maybe he's hearing it from other customers. So that's the one sort of cautionary point that I saw. But at least from everything that we see in the macro, everything in the industry still looks very good. There's a lot of awards coming in. I know some people on the board, including Eric Niles, have posted wins that have been coming in that are all Clearfield customers. So that's the one thing, obviously, I'll be looking for is bookings. And the second thing I'm also looking for is what is their AR balance? I don't know if you've been noticing their financials that their AR has steadily climbed. Now, obviously, that's natural with how much revenue they've been booking. But they've also been talking about if they get more business from the tier ones, that payment terms may be a little bit longer. So I'm wondering if one of the reasons they did a secondary was to protect themselves in terms of cash on the balance sheet, not only to protect themselves from a growing AR balance, but also to take advantage of potential further M&A opportunities like they did with Nestor. Are there going to be other supply chain companies or other opportunities that they sort of go after here if we do end up in a mini to medium recession, depending on obviously what happens with Powell and the interest rates. So those are the main 2 things I'm looking for. Obviously, any commentary on the BEAD program and RDOF. Are the government dollars coming in? Do they sense any concern about the debt ceiling, et cetera, affecting those? I don't think they will. All of the RDOF and BEAD monies, had huge bipartisan support, so I don't expect anything there. But you never know with the marketplace and what they're expecting.
Okay, just real quick on EPS. I think the street's at like 96 or 98 cents. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
And are you still? Last time we talked to you, you were expecting like $1.40 or so. Is that still?
I still think that they're going to draw down that backlog a lot. Now, obviously, that's part of what the revenue line will entail, and the other revenue line will entail what came in on the fourth quarter, and they could ship during that same quarter. So again, I think there's a good floor on the backlog that they're going to process. They've discussed many times with you and I. They've discussed many times at the Needham conference and on the last quarterly call that they are accelerating how much they're able to ship. So I think there's a good floor in there. I think they'll beat the number. Will they get up to that number? I don't know. It depends on how much strength there was in the fourth quarter and how much of the inventory they could do immediately.
Okay, we'll see. You know what? We will probably, I'll touch base with you, but we will maybe do a live show from like 4 p.m. all the way to 6 p.m. to talk about Clearfield and all the other big cap earnings. So if you're around, we'd love to do like a private Zoom with our community then.
You bet.
All right. Awesome, Kris. Thanks for your time.
Sure.
All right. And now, before we get to Vegas, I see Vegas on the backstage. We have one more guest here. We're going to bring on Kris Tuttle from IPO Candy and SPACvest. He's been on our show before. Kris, how you doing this morning? You've had lots of good picks for us. Mobileye was one recent one, which did great after the IPO. But we want to bring you on here to talk about ChatGPT. It was AI that we had on our radar yesterday, for a couple days now because of ChatGPT, and you told us YEXT may be the better way to go. And since you brought that up, I mean, the stock has exploded. It was $7.25 when I got in, when we had the conversation in our chat room. So tell the world about YEXT and why you think this is a better play on ChatGPT than AI is. Oh, I can't hear you, Kris. You don't have your mic connected. So just check your settings on that. So while he's getting his settings checked, I'll also let you guys know there was massive call volume yesterday on YEXT on the February 750 strikes. Yep, February 750 strikes. I guess there was a lot of trading because I only see open interest of 3,400. Also, the March 750 strikes had high call volume, so something definitely going on there. It's having a big gap up this morning, up 7%.
Okay, testing.
I hear you now. Okay.
All right. Sorry about that, Ben. Well, yeah. Obviously, ChatGPT, AI, all that. AI, so it just reminded me of this company, YEXT, that we covered the IPO. They came public in 2017, I think. And I kind of left it for dead. The CEO was a nutcase a little bit, at least to me. And they focused, they had the AI back then, but they were really focusing on like lead generation and stuff like that, like, the old Groupon model almost. And anyway, I wasn't interested. The stock is actually held together. They put a new management team in. They pivoted the business to be more of an enterprise business around answering customers' questions, right? Which is like, you start.
You're talking about AI right now or YEXT? I'm sorry.
I'm talking about YEXT.
Oh, YEXT. Okay. All right.
So their whole business right now is based on helping companies just have their customers get answers to their questions, which is, exactly how the GPT model works, right? So essentially, they're a search company that's based on text and questions, right? That's their current business. And they have not talked about ChatGPT yet because they're on an off quarter. If you look at their last Q&A of their quarterly conference call, none of the analysts even brought it up because it hadn't emerged yet onto the scene. So these guys are actually in a perfect position to not only, do some things with ChatGPT, which if announced, as we can see in this market, can definitely move the stock. But, a couple of other things I wanted to mention. These guys their fundamental business is doing well. So they're getting competitive wins. They, there's someone calling me. They just won a deal with where they're powering the search for like Square for their seller community. So they've got a buyback in place. They just turned profitable. Their guidance is around 400 million for this year, which is about 2x. Let's call it maybe 2.5x their market cap. So these guys they definitely are going to take this technology and probably add it to the mix. And what it will get them right away is all of their customers would instantly have the power of ChatGPT driving their customer interaction experience for essentially almost no incremental work on the customer's part. So all of YEXT customers would be able to leverage it. And it could catalyze their business. So I see this as two things. one, I brought it up to you and the group because I'm like, you know what? There's a big trade here, because looking at what happened with AI, people are going to be looking for these things. And if this company says something or does a release or adds it to the product line, there's going to be a significant trade opportunity. And the valuation is undemanding. They're good fundamentals. Longer term, with the new management in place and the real business they have, this could catalyze the business to be much more effective than it has been in the past, which would mean like a fundamental reason why this could drive their revenue and earnings for, you know, a couple of years. I'm not making that call because there's more work to do, but it's got the benefit of being a great near-term trade, and it could catalyze into a longer-term fundamental growth story that like legitimate investors would want to own.
Yeah, absolutely. And those are the trades I love. It's a perfect setup for me from a story trading perspective, because it's got the sentiment, it's got the fundamentals, it's got the technicals too. Is this a 52-week high? I mean, it's definitely in a breakout zone, and it's in a big gap here with, you know, we'll see. Maybe Vegas will comment on it when she comes in, but it's got like almost all four pillars. Doesn't really have the catalyst yet. So the catalyst will, you know, if they issue that news release on ChatGTP, then everything's going to go. And I love that there's not much social media chatter on this yet, Kris. I don't know if you noticed. I saw you post something on StockTwits, and that board is completely dead. Imagine if people find this. I mean, this thing can go bonkers.
Yeah, and YEXT is, you know, the price and the positioning. It's a perfect name for, you know, the retail community to get this thing started in terms of trading volume and price. And like I said, you know, this could be a legitimate institutional stock. It reminds me a little bit of like a HubSpot in the early days. You know, they have to execute. I've never liked a stock before, although it actually got to like 25 back at 18. If you look way back, you know, post the IPO. But yeah, this is, you know, this is a real opportunity for the company. I think it's got all the hallmarks that you mentioned, Ben, in terms of a really good near-term trading opportunity that I'm going to be doing some work on it. I'm going to get a demo of their current platform, hopefully this week, maybe next week. But I'm going to dig in further to see if, you know, this could actually catalyze the business to be, you know, who knows, right? I'm going to do the analysis first and figure it out later. But it's certainly got the potential to be a, you know, fundamentally good long-term story as well.
Yep, sounds great. And I've had, by the way, many people who I respect telling me about YEXT just yesterday, and I told someone else about it who's a great fundamental researcher, and everyone who's looked at it, I've been getting the thumbs up from all kinds of people I trust on this. So, Kris, thanks for bringing that to the community. Where can people follow you? Where do you want to send them? IPO Candy, SPAC Fest?
Yeah, best place is IPO Candy. That's where we're doing all our micro cap stuff and the things that I think will appeal a lot to.
That's IPOcandy.com?
That's the place.
Awesome. Thanks, you, Kris.
Ben. All right.
Great. All right, let's move on. We're going to do real quick with Vegas because we're running late. Here we go. Good morning, Vegas. Sorry we're running late. There's just so much going on this morning.
Right. I know, lots going on. Market's looking great.
It's
Love
like
the action.
I think it's a Fed pivot. I covered it at the beginning of the show. But in any case, I would love to get your reaction on YEXT, and then give me your top pick for the day besides.
Well, can you spell the ticker for me?
YEXT.
Oh, YEXT.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know why I put the wrong ticker here. Okay, so I've never traded this one. Beautiful chart. Oh my God, this is like, hello, you got to take it. The chart's gorgeous. So it's a beautiful swing trade. I love the expansion breakout. Like, this is getting ready for a move. Nice gap this morning, a little over 6% here. And let's see here. So are you guys in this trade right now?
I am. I got in at 725 yesterday. I gave a couple targets. I forgot exactly what they are, but I think it was like 870 and 1080, like something like that.
Yeah,
830,
so target.
I think it was 8.
Yep. Looks really nice here. So I could see this going towards, you know what, 916 and 1059. So looks great as long as it holds over that $7. Actually, if it holds 659, that's a good stop. but you know, I'd like to see it hold over 7. But if it pulled back a little, I wouldn't be concerned. It's got very good support here at 659 and another good support at 602. So got very good support here on this. So I'd love to see this go to 916 and 1059. Looks good. Very
awesome.
good. This is like, this kind of looks like it's under accumulation too. So it looks really good.
I'm glad you love it. I love it too. Give me your top pick. I know there's a lot going on, and there's probably tons of stocks that are going to do great today and did great yesterday, but give me your top pick for the day.
Top pick of the day? You know, I'm going to have to say Tesla, because it's just such a good, it's a good one. Actually, you know what? I'm going to say Microsoft. Forget Tesla, because everyone's in Tesla. And I did talk about it yesterday that this is heading towards 200.
You did.
So,
you nailed it.
You know, I don't want to keep repeating the same thing. So let me give you a new one. Let's look at Microsoft. Microsoft looks really good. Microsoft actually currently trading right now 256.70. If this gets going,
above the 200 DMA, I can't believe this.
Yeah, I love this chart, and you know, earnings is done. So if this has momentum, which it should, because it has a nice little, you know, gap up from yesterday, good volume pre-market. This has room to like 261 and 263. So I mean, that's a pretty big move from like where we're trading like right now. And you know, like I love stocks that have a nice move, like $5-6 or more. Those are like juicy trades for me. So definitely, Microsoft looks really, really exciting. I am in Microsoft already. I took a 260 calls a couple days ago. I'm trying to do like a little challenge account to help people grow a small account. So I paid 20 cents. So I don't know what they're going to be today. They did move yesterday. So I only have one in the little challenge account. I do have Microsoft, just so you know as well. Full disclosure, I took a swing trade yesterday for March 17 contracts on Microsoft. So we are in an active swing trade. My target on Microsoft on a swing trade, because obviously my target today is like around 260, what did I say? 261 and 263 for today. But on a swing perspective, okay, because we like swing trades, I'm looking for this to go towards, I think it'll meet all my targets. My target actually was 260-250. So if it gets there,
look at what's happening right before the open. I mean, the whole market is squeezing right now. This is crazy.
Yeah, you know, it's really crazy. It looks like a squeeze coming. I mean, listen, I think that from very strong continuation across the board. And I think, you know, we might see a little consolidation maybe, but you can see here the VIX is currently at low levels from January 13, 2022, from the beginning of the first initial sell-off, which was very interesting to note. So I think we could see some action here, and pretty bullish close on a structural basis. So it looks really exciting. I think shorts are in a tough technical standpoint right now. I think shorts are going to have to scramble and start covering. Yeah,
I agree. There's all the market, all the major stocks in the market over key long-term moving averages.
Oh my God. I mean, before we go, like, don't forget tonight, like crazy earnings, right? Apple, Amazon, and Google. So really excited for tomorrow's show.
Yep. All right. What's the ticker for there's an ETF for like the FANG stocks long. Do you remember what the ticker is for that?
No, I don't remember offhand.
I know the FNGD is the
ask him. You know what? Who would know? Wolf would know. Maybe message him. He would know.
I forgot what it is. The FNGD is the inverse. I think the long one of this would be a great way to go on a day like today, I think.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, everyone. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you so much.
See you tomorrow.
Take care, guys. See ya. And we'll be back for our VIPs this evening. Probably. Yes, I'll put it in the app at 4 p.m., probably all the way right through 6 p.m. We'll do a Zoom to take us through all the earnings, especially Clearfield tonight. We'll see you soon.